Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello my dear students and welcome back to a new lesson and a new unit at the same time. Unit number 5. And this unit will be about literature. Today we'll have the first section or the first part of lessons number 1 and 2. They are about reading, and to be more specific, they have the title Identifying Styles of Writing. Here we have 3 pictures. This person, this man who's reading, and next to him we have here a woman, and then Zainab. This is a novel by Muhammad Hussein Haykal. Now, after looking at these 3 pictures, let's do practice or task number A. Practice number A, discuss these questions in groups. Number 1, do you read when you travel? If you do, if the answer is yes, you have to say why. And if it is not, you have to say why not. So, number 1, do you read when you travel? Yes, of course. Sometimes some people may say that. Why? Why do you read when you travel? Some students may say, I read to let the time pass. Others say, I read to entertain ourselves, or we read to entertain ourselves. Or we can say, we read sometimes to get the benefit of reading. And some students may say, we read to avoid wasting our time. And as you all know, time is so valuable and we mustn't waste it. Number 2, do you prefer to read fiction or non-fiction? Here, my dear students, the answer is up to you. The answer depends on your point of view. Some people, some students like reading fiction and others like reading non-fiction. But in my opinion, I prefer reading non-fiction because they are real stories, real things. But sometimes we need to read fiction. Why? To imagine unreal situations in life. Number 3, who are your favorite authors writing in Arabic? Who are your favorite authors writing in Arabic? There are a lot of authors. There are a lot of authors I like, as Muhammad Hussein Haykal, Taha Hussein, and let's say the poet Nizar Qabbani, etc. And at the same time, you can add your favorite authors, my students. Number 4, have you read any good books lately? What were they about? Yes, I have. I have read a very good book lately. It was about the history of the Middle East, let's say. It was about the story of Hannibal and his travels, etc. Number 5. What kind of books do you prefer? Number the types of books from 1 to 6. So here we have historical novels, thrillers, biographies, science fiction novels, travel writing, novels about modern life. Yeah, here every one of you can mark or put a number besides or next to these types of books according to you, my students. Now let's do practice number A in our workbook. Practice number A on our workbook on page number 30. Read the two texts on course book, page number 454, then answer the questions below. Give reasons for your answers. Yeah, first of all, we have to read the two texts. We have to read the two texts. Then we can answer these questions. Number 1, which person is interested in the characters in the story? Which person reads to pass the time? Which person discusses books with friends? Which one prefers books that are not difficult? And which person chooses books very carefully? And finally, which person is more interested in action than characters? Now let's read these two texts. The first one about Musa and the second one about Salsabil. Musa: I enjoy reading a good story. I enjoy reading a good story. I mean an exciting story with plenty of action. I have tried reading other kinds of novel, but I prefer this kind. They are relaxing and easy to read. Sometimes I feel like reading at home, and I often read on the bus. I travel a lot by bus and the journeys can be boring, so it's good to have something to read. Now, the text about Salsabil. Reading a good novel is one of the things I enjoy most. I try to do some reading most days, so I get through quite a lot of books. Sometimes I don't know what to do or what to read next, so I ask a friend to recommend a good book. Before choosing a book, I read a few pages to see if I like it. I like novels about people. I think the characters and their thoughts are more interesting than what happens in the story. Now let's do the previous questions. Number 1, which person is interested in the characters in the story? Yes, Salsabil. Salsabil is interested in the characters in a story. Why? Because she says the characters and their thoughts are more interesting than what happens in the story. Number 2, which person reads to pass the time? Musa. He says, I often reads on the bus. 3. Which person discusses books with friends? سلسبيل. I ask a friend to recommend a good book. Number 4. Which person prefers books that are not difficult? Musa. I enjoy reading an exciting story with plenty of action. And number 5. Which person chooses books very carefully? سلسبيل. I read a few pages to see if I like it. And finally, number 6. Which person is more interested in action than characters? Musa. An exciting story with plenty of action. Now, we can conclude this part of our lesson, my dear students. So I hope you can get the benefit of this part, part number 1. Have a good time, my students, and goodbye.